Hello everyone, in today's tutorial we're going to be going over front snap kick for Pumse. Let's get started. So when you're first learning this kick, I recommend having something to help you keep your balance. So we have a rail for our students to help them keep their balance. But if you're at home, you can just use your wall. Right? Before you even start the kick, it's important to pay attention to the way you position your guard and how you stand, because this can affect how you perform the kick. So how I want to stand is in sort of a walking stance and try to have my hips and shoulders more forward. My guard, or the hand that's not holding on to the wall, I want to have up, in, and closed. So for step number 1 of front snap kick, you're going to raise your knee straight up. Pay attention to the foot position here. We want to strike with the ball of the foot. So pull your toes back as much as you can and point your foot. So to get to that position, I would point my foot completely and then pull my toes back. From here, you're going to fully extend your leg, trying to keep your knee up at the same height. So step number 2 is going to be kick and straighten your leg out all the way. Strike with the ball of the foot. After that, pull back all the way or retract. And then step number 4 is to set down your foot. So one more time. Step 1, knee up. Step 2, kick. Step 3, pull back. And step 4, set it down. As you get better and better at the kick, try to combine the steps closer and closer together like this. So I'll go step 1 and 2. Up, kick, and then combine steps 3 and 4. In, down. Up, kick, in, down. As you get better and better at that one, try to do the full kick. However, be careful that you do not skip the knee up. Okay? If you skip the knee up, the rest of the kick is probably going to be incorrect. So I'm going to go up, kick, in, down. And remember that Pumse is different from sparring. At the extension of the kick, you want to slightly pause. So watch again. Up, kick, in, down. As you get better and better, rely less and less on the assistance. All right, so I feel like I've gotten my front kick pretty good. So now we're going to move off of the rail and the wall, and we're going to clean up our technique a little bit. So no longer having that assistance forces you to rely on your own balance way more. And I'm going to go over some common mistakes I see in front kick and how to correct them. So when we were on the rail, we were starting with the kicking leg in front. However, a lot of Pumse, the kicking leg starts in the back. So now when we're off the rail, off the wall, we're going to kick with our rear leg. So make a fighting stance. As I said before, it's important to stand correctly. So make sure your hips are forward, your shoulders are forward, and your guard is up, in, and closed. From here, we're going to do the same steps. Real quick though, pay attention to how I'm standing now. So my front foot is facing forward. Whenever I raise my knee up, to allow me to have a stronger knee up, I want to pivot that foot outward on the ball of the foot around 30 degrees. So watch my standing foot here. Pivot. 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 Also, while we're here, pay attention and make sure you are not stepping before you kick. So I should not step. That is incorrect in Pumse. Do not step. That's what we call a half step. That's a mistake. All you should do is pivot. Now raise your knee up at the same time you pivot. So I'm going to go knee up, and my foot will slightly pivot. Do not overturn, or else you're starting to go towards roundhouse kick more. Remember, we're doing a front kick, so we're kicking in front of us, so our body should be facing more forward. Okay, so step 1 is knee up. And then you can see I have an obstacle here. I recommend trying to find something that's around a little lower than knee height, and this will help you catch some mistakes you may be performing during front kick. So step 1, knee up. I'm going to kick next. 2, over the block. 3, pull back. And 4, down. I'm going to return to my walking stance. Okay, so what the block does here, or whatever obstacle you may have, is ensures that you're not kicking too early. So a common mistake I see is you're raising your knee up and then you kick too early, causing your kick to be incorrect. So what you want to do instead is raise your knee all the way up first. Do not kick too early, and then swing it all the way up, then kick. Do not kick, then swing it up. That is incorrect. And that's why a lot of students tend to have a lower kick, is because the timing of their kick is actually incorrect. Instead, all the way up. Try to delay your extension as long as possible. I go all the way up first, then I kick. And vice versa, make sure you pull your leg in all the way before setting it down. If you don't do that, drop it, I'm gonna hit the obstacle. And then I pull my leg back in, I would hit the obstacle again. So that's the purpose of this block here, to make sure I'm going all the way up, I kick over it, and then all the way in before I set it down. I wanna have a clean kick. Up, kick, in, down. So using an obstacle like this can really help you make sure you're performing the technique properly. Lastly, I'm gonna go over some common mistakes I see in each of the different steps, and I'll give you a couple tips on how to improve your front kick in general. So let's get rid of this block. So for step number 1, as I said, the way you stand and the way you put your guard is important. When you are kicking, you start in your fighting stance here, pull your hands in, approximately between the belt and the patch here, or around your sternum area, your solar plexus region. That's where you want to place your hands with your knuckles facing each other and your fists are closed. Don't have your elbows flaring out super far. That's where you want to pull your hands in whenever you're doing a pumse front kick. At the same time I raise the knee up, that's what I want to do. Hands come in, same time my knee comes up, and my standing foot has pivoted. Whenever you do this, do not hunch over. Just because you can kick high doesn't necessarily mean you're performing the kick correctly. Okay, so do not hunch like this just to get your knee higher. And then also, you make sure your heel does not come off the ground. This is another common one I see with people that try to kick too high. Instead, just kick lower and have a nicer kick. Okay, so step 1, yep, you're standing tall, my heel's on the ground still, and I'm not hunching over. Same thing when I kick, keep good posture. Same thing when I pull back, good posture. And then make sure you have a super tight chamber, so your heel should be close to your butt. If you want more time to extend, therefore having more power, then have a tighter chamber and a tighter retraction. And then back down. Okay, so in the knee up, really tight. Don't have a loose chamber. This is a loose chamber. Too much gap here. So heel closer to the butt. All right, that will give you more power. If you have a tighter chamber, you're gonna have a more powerful kick. All right, so everything together. Step 1, knee up, hands come in, and your standing foot pivots. Step 2, fully extend your leg and strike with the ball of the foot, maintaining upright posture. Step 3, retract completely. And step 4, return to your original starting position. That's how you perform a front snap kick for pumse. Now I'm going to show you a couple of full speed kicks on the air. Once you feel pretty comfortable breaking it down without assistance, then it's just time to start practicing. There's a lot of different ways you can practice. You can practice from a bunch of different stances. So I'm just going to practice from fighting stance and walking stance. But in your different pumse, there's front kick from front stance. There's front kick from a back stance. There's front kick from tiger stance, kicking with the front leg. So there's lots of different ways to perform a front kick, but it's important to still perform the technique correctly. All right, so let me demonstrate a couple of full speed front snap kicks. I'm not necessarily the highest kicker, but I try to have as clean technique as possible. So don't worry about height too much when you're first learning this kick. Instead, worry about the technique, and then the height should come a little later. Okay, so knee up, kick, pull back, down. Pay attention to my standing leg. This is another one that I see. Try not to let that leg bend too much. A significant bend usually accompanies the heel coming up in a hunched posture, but it is okay, a slight bend, but try to straighten it out as much as you can. Try to be aware of that. That's probably one of the biggest things I do see for higher kickers, because it's really hard to straighten out that leg. And I'll do a couple of side kicks so you can see. Front kicks to the side so you can see what the technique should look like. And just another reminder, pumse, you have to pause the kick very slightly at the extension, okay? It's not an immediate retraction like this. That's more of a sparring style. So pumse, slight pause. Pause. But I still have power. So just be sure to practice this kick a bunch of times and you'll see improvement. A lot of it does come with just practice. If you need any help with front kick, be sure to leave a comment down below. If you have any suggestions for what we should do a tutorial on next, be sure to leave them down below in the comments. Thanks for watching, and we wish you the best of luck in learning front kick.